All right, so we are back in Naples. You could probably tell from the background, this is where it all started. I'm in the process of dialing in this new studio, getting it all ready for some good quality content for 2024. I hope you guys are excited about that. In today's video, we're going to go ahead and review my last trading week, being able to profit about $5,700 last week, which I will verify on Interactive Brokers with a realized summary report for you guys to see. We'll dive into TradeZella. We'll look at some of the stats from some of my trades from last week and really highlight some of those trades on Friday because I haven't yet been able to review those with you guys here on the channel. On top of that, we'll jump into the charts, look at the S&P, the NASDAQ futures, get a good idea of where we closed last week, and overall just recap everything that happened, talk about what we need to be looking for moving into next week, talk about some of my trades. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and start this video out by looking at my entire last week. TradeZella popped up. We can look at all my stats, all my performance. Let's go ahead and start there. So you can see net P&L of last week, the first 4 trading days of 2024, about a $5,700 profit, which I am very, very pleased with. You can see I had a $1.3 thousand day, $2,000 day. Thursday was a pretty flat day, had some profit, lost some of it. It was about a $200 day. And then on Friday, closed the week very strong with some really quality trades. And that's what we're going to highlight are those Friday trades, about $2.2 thousand, up about $3,000 at one point, but gave back some profits, holding maybe a little bit too long. But yeah, that's trading, right? So gave back some profits there on Friday, but ended very nicely. So overall, a really nice week, about $5,700 on the week. Profit factor 1.82, trade expectancy $240, win rate about a 67% win rate, and then my win to loss was about a 0.91. So this means here, just from looking at the stats, just very high level, this means my last week, my profitability came from win rate, right? So if we look to the left side, we look at this Zella score over here, you can see that the win rate, where it says on the top, top of the triangle there, that was my best performing part, right? So my win rate was the reason I was profitable. Now, this is something we want to continue to monitor, and this is what I love about TradeZella, because if my win rate starts to decline, then I know that I'm going to start losing money in my portfolio. I need to try to make sure that my average win-loss is getting a little bit better. Right now, it's 0.91, so my winners are just about the same size as my losers, but I have that positive win rate, which is something that I believe I am good at. I believe my accuracy is good in trading, but I could improve my statistics here by focusing a little bit more on making sure those winners are slightly larger. So if my win rate was even here, if I lost the same amount of times that I won last week, I would have been red on the week because my losers were larger than my winners, right? So a good high-level statistic to look at here, something to know about your trading, that's something that I know from my trading from last week. So we'll have to be sort of mindful of that as we go through the trading month, and mindful that we need to make sure we possibly increase that average win-to-loss ratio, that 0.91 on the top right. Now, I'll go ahead and go to Interactive Brokers, and we can run a realized summary here, and you can see that these numbers match up, and I'm not BSing anything. So we'll go to realized summary. We will go to custom range date. We will go from Tuesday to Friday, and we will view that report right there. I'm going to go into this realized and unrealized summary tab, and I'll go down to the bottom and zoom in here for you guys to see. So right here, 5781. Right here, 57.82, maybe a little bit of a commission discrepancy. I'm not sure exactly why it's off by $1. But 57.81 here on Interactive Brokers. Total unrealized profit about 63.08. And this is because I have some unrealized gains that I'm still holding into next week. So a really nice week, guys, right? These are all the trades I took. You can see here on the right side. Our losers, we had a loser on Amazon, which we can review. This is one of my larger losers of last week. But besides that, right, if we take that $1,800 loser out, it's all pretty small stuff. We have a $1,300 loser here on Google. Besides that, 363, small win there, nice win, small loss, win, 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 small loss. Nice wins here, a small loss right there. And that's about it. So a nice week, right? I'm very pleased with this. Matches up with TradeZella. That was my stats for last week, a good first week of 2024. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and dive in a little bit deeper to that Friday that Friday trading day. And there's two trades that I want to review with you here on Friday. The first one is the SPY put. This trade is a really, really good learning lesson and something I definitely want to go over in detail today, that SPY trade. And the other one that I want to review is IWM, which is something I continue to play short into, and I'll talk through a little bit about what I did on Friday to get my position once again on IWM and profit on that on the downside towards end of day, and also why I continue to hold it into next week. After we review SPY and IWM, I'll go into that Thursday trading day, and we will talk about that $1,800 loss that I had on Amazon. This trade was not that bad of a loss. I just scaled possibly too heavy into this one. I was getting a little bit maybe too confident in this one. So we will review that $1,800 loser on Amazon as well. So let's start off by looking at SPY from last week, from Friday, and reviewing that trade. All right, guys, so here is the SPY trade. You can see made about a 20% profit, about $1,000 profit, was entering shorts up here around that 470.50 area, got that quick aggressive downside, took my profits. And there's a reason why I took profits very quickly here. And there's something I really want to talk about on this trade, because this type of trade, which we have been seeing here on the market over the last few days, is a key supply rejection trade, right? We have been moving higher into previous supply rejections, which I will go and move on to the charts for you guys to see. You guys can see right here, we have the S&P 500 futures chart pulled up. And on Friday, we got this move to the upside right here. We had this upside move into the previous day highs and into that previous Tuesday low. Now, this was the trade idea that I had on this trade. I wanted to look to see, could we move back up into that supply rejection around that 47.65 level on the S&P 500 futures, which was the previous day high here and the previous day lows on Tuesday. I wanted to see, could we push into that level and reject that level the same way we did the day prior. On Thursday, you can see on the charts, we did the exact same thing. We moved higher into that 47.65 and rejected all late day. On Friday, we did the same exact thing. Now, with this type of trade, and this is something I talked through with the group, it requires a lot of patience and belief in your trade, right? Because trying to catch that type of supply rejection that we saw on Friday, which I will zoom in onto the 5-minute chart and sort of go into, catching this supply rejection when you're sort of grinding to the upside pretty much all morning is very difficult emotionally, right? Because the market is moving higher. It's very slowly grinding to the upside. And if you want to be the person that's trying to catch that supply rejection, which you know is possible due to technical analysis and seeing the previous reactions at that supply, it's going to take a lot of patience and belief in your strategy. And on Friday, I was sitting in some drawdown. So if I go back to that SPY trade and we go to the running P&L, you guys will see here, I was sitting in about $800 to anywhere from $800 to $1,000 of drawdown in this trade, waiting for it to develop, right? And so this is difficult for some people. It is difficult for some people to sit in drawdown, to trust your analysis, to stay in the trade while the market is sort of grinding slightly against you over an extended period of time. It takes confidence. It takes belief, right? It takes emotional control, and that's what you need here to take advantage of some of these supply rejection moves. So I wanted to highlight this, right? Because when you enter this type of trade, you have to make sure you have a plan. If you try to take a supply rejection like we saw on Friday without any type of plan, without any type of structure, you are going to be all over the place. You're going to be down in the trade. You're not going to know when to exit. You're probably going to end up stopping out because you just don't know how much you could potentially lose here. You have no idea your whole entire trade plan. And that is what's going to kill you in trading, right? And so I knew on Friday I was staying in the short side trade as long as the S&P 500 futures were below 47.65. And the reason why I was willing to stay in this trade until 47.65, again, is due to technical analysis. So we have that Tuesday low, we have that Wednesday rejection, we have that Thursday rejection, and there was no way that I was going to exit a position when we started to move towards supply, right? I cannot exit that position. No matter how much I'm down, no matter how much percent I'm down, dollar amount I'm down, it is incorrect to be exiting put options at the exact level that should or could reject and possibly create a very nice downside trade. The only reason why someone would be exiting up here at this supply level is what? It is because of your own emotion, and it is due to your own inability to create a trade plan, right? So exiting puts up here is only because you either entered too early, you're in too much size, you're not comfortable, you're emotionally freaking out, right? And that was why someone would take a loss there on put options at that supply level, right? There's a very clear reason to be short up at that 47.65, as we talked about on these previous rejections. And on top of that, that 20 SMA level that's sitting right above, potentially acting as a rejection point. So I wanted to point this trade out because this is a textbook supply rejection trade that you have to sit in. Drawdown is potential, right? There's definitely potential drawdown here unless you're getting in exactly at the perfect time, which is very difficult for you to ask out of yourself. I was in and I had to sit. I had to sit and I had to wait for that level to break down. And the only way that I was exiting this trade for a loss was if we broke above 47.65 and my trade idea invalidated. Then you exit for that loss. If you end up being wrong and that trade level invalidates, which for me was 47.65 and that 20 SMA, unless we're breaking above that level, there is absolutely zero reason to be exiting that trade if the trade plan is still valid. So for me, I stay in positions until my plan is invalidated. Now, the first step to that is having a plan, and you have to stay in the plan, be emotionally under control until it invalidates. And if it does not invalidate, you remain in the trade. And I would say a large percent of the time, if your trade stays valid and it continues to hold under a supply rejection level, it ends up working out. And that is exactly what you saw here on Friday. So I think something very key to point out from Friday, a really nice SPY trade. You can see right here, I was in it. I was holding until my trade invalidated. I'll go to TradeZilla here. You can see I was in this trade. I remained to hold it. I was in drawdown. Eventually got my move. Obviously could have held runners, but I wanted to take that quick profit, right? So I took the quick profit. Obviously, looking back at it, could have held a little bit longer, something I could work on, but I wanted to make sure to make that point. Stay in trades as long as they're valid along your trading plan. Make sure to have a trading plan before you enter a trade. So I know you're probably sitting around waiting to see how I lost $1,800 on Amazon. So let's go ahead and jump right into this one. $1,800 loss on Amazon, about 40 contracts, 35%, which is a pretty average losing trade for me. Maybe let this one go a little bit further than I should have, but you can see I was entering shorts around this 146 level, and I exited after we got a push above that 146. There's a reason why I waited to exit this position, and this is something I'll talk about that goes along with my stop losses. When do I exit a position? When do I lose and accept that I'm wrong? So my idea here on Amazon was looking for a supply rejection of $146. So let me go ahead and go into the charts and talk you through this Amazon trade. Why was I looking for us to reject 146? So I'm going to go into the 30-minute chart. Actually, I got to get a little bit more time here. I'm going to go to the hourly chart, and we're going to look at 146 and talk to you through why I was sort of targeting that level. So here's the hourly chart on Amazon, and if we look to the left here on this chart, we can see that there was a lot of previous lows around this 146, 146, 146, a lot of previous action around that 146 level. And so on Thursday of last week, if I go to the 5-minute chart, you can see right here, this is Thursday of last week. This is the trading action from Thursday. This is the pre-market. And in the pre-market, we got a drop and rejection of 146, right? Very nice. I was very interested after seeing that move. I saw us break, hold below 146, and drop to the downside. So when we came into market open, I was looking for Amazon to come back up, reject that 146 again, and come back down to the downside, right? So I was using that 146 level as my supply level, as my key level to play shorts off of. Now I got to go down to the 2-minute chart so we can really go into detail about what my thought process here was during this trade. So here's the 2-minute chart, and here is the open. So we had that push up in the 146, and we got a little bit of a rejection at that level once again. So I started to enter shorts in this area right here. Now, quickly after entering, unfortunately, we continued higher, and we broke over 146. So I was red on this trade at that time. Now, I do not, like I said, I do not like exiting positions until I get a true feeling that my trade plan is invalidated, right? And so once we got over 146, I was not just going to instantly exit that position. I did not want to just get faked out over my level. I was going to let this thing move around a little bit. Now, the reason why I'm able to do that, and I'll talk about this with the group a lot, the reason why I was able to give Amazon just a little bit of time above my stop loss is because I am emotionally comfortable in the trades I take, right? I am in a position size that I'm comfortable with. I can lose the money that I'm putting on the table. I am not freaking out during my trades. Now, at times, right, we will see a little pop above your stop. It'll come right back under, and it'll continue lower. And you look back at the trade, and you say, damn, I got faked out. Right? And so that is the type of move that I try at all costs to avoid. And if I have to lose a couple more $100, maybe another $500-$600 to potentially avoid a fake out like that, I will take that 10 out of 10 times. And so what I waited for to truly feel like my trade was invalidated here was the hold above 146. And what you guys can see here over the next 30 to 45 minutes, Amazon went from rejecting that 146 to very clearly holding that 146. And after seeing that, that is when I said to myself, okay, I have to accept I'm wrong here. Amazon is now turning 146 into support. This is not some type of fake out over 146. This is a clear break and hold above a key level. And then it's time to exit the position. So I do not exit just because we got above my level, right? I'm not going to just instantly panic out. That's not something I will ever do. And if I have to lose a couple more $100 here, so be it, right? That type of risk is okay with me. And that at times will keep me from getting faked out of a position. And so what I saw was that I was not getting faked out. It was turning into support. And that is when I exited the position for a loss of about $1,800. Could have won a little bit less size on this one. It could have been, $1,000, $500, $600 loss. But I was pretty confident in this one at the time, right? And so my confidence got me into the trade. Unfortunately, I was wrong. But I am happy that I stayed in the position, right, until it really, truly invalidated. And that is what I like about this trade. That is okay with me because I know that I'm sticking to my strategy. I know that I'm staying comfortable in my trades. And so be it if I take a loss. But at least I did not just panic out, right? I would be more upset with myself here if I was to panic out of this trade and see it end up moving lower. This would make me more upset than it would be for me to lose my money and still stay along my trading plan, right? I'd rather stick with my plan and lose my money than I would see me go against my plan, lose my money, and see that if I would have just stayed along my plan and stayed emotionally under control, it would have worked out nicely. So hopefully that makes some sense there. $1,800 loser there on Amazon. That was pretty much the largest loss of my last week, the first week of 2024. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here because I think this one's getting probably a little bit too long. So if you want to stay tuned and look at some of that S&P 500, that NASDAQ analysis heading into next week, come hang out in the pre-market live streams every single morning here on YouTube starting at 8 a.m. We go over the ES, the NASDAQ, individual stocks to look for, preparing you for every single trading morning, preparing you, hopefully helping you find some trades out there. So if you want to check that out, come back here every single weekday starting at 8 a.m. I hope you guys enjoyed today's recap of my last trading week, a great start to the 2024 trading year. If you guys enjoyed today's video, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, help me get to 100K subs by the end of the year, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.